Hello, welcome to Get Your Money Shit Together, day 27. If you've made it this far, you are already on it and you've been doing all the work. You've gone deep on some areas that were maybe a little uncomfortable, and maybe you've identified some things about you and your money story. And today we get to talk about what happens when you do get to excess. What happens when you have a little extra? And the extra is, I like to call it play money. The reason I do that is because I want you to understand that this, first and foremost, is money that is for, you could go out and play and spend it, and that's okay. And so today's topic is what about coin and understanding a digital economy. And the reason I preface that with play money and the conversation about money, it's really important here that you understand when you are going into an unknown, when you are going into an investment class that you don't understand, you're not an expert, you don't have someone in your life who can guide you step by step. If you don't have those resources at your disposal, please do not follow this advice and go out and buy a bunch of coin with money that you need. If you're going to need your money anytime soon, I recommend moving it because you just never know. That said, if you have perhaps at this point, pull from your lifestyle a little bit of extra, that it could be something that you spend and you never see it again, and that's okay. And the reason I have you at that level with this is because now you're letting go of all the stuff, all the, oh, what if I lose it? What if it's down when I need it? And there's a lot of story in there that we can create that is going to make investing in coin not the deal for you, and you will lose. And I've met a lot of people who've lost because they've made these negative choices. So with that wording in mind, let me go into how you can get started. If you're a super beginner, you don't know a lot about coin, and you really, really want to get started, then let's talk about what it takes and what you need, the mindset, most importantly, that you need to have in terms of how you're going to invest. So first rule of thumb, always when you're investing in an asset class that you do not understand, AKA if you are not an expert in coin, use money that it's not supposed to be in your life. You were supposed to spend it, or you've made an intentional decision to reduce your Starbucks or whatever your version of that is to do it. So rule number one, always invest in coin unless you're an expert, and then you're probably not listening to this live. But always invest in coin and other assets that you don't know from a play perspective. Consider it as speculative. Speculative means we're guessing. Okay, so with that in mind, number two is start to think long term. So yes, some people go in and they trade every day and they make money, and some people can become really good at it and make fortunes. They spend their energy, their time, their money on training and education, and months training without real money before they do that. So I want you to understand that day trading is not something that you jump into and make a lot of money. You might get lucky, you might not, but consider day trading a casino. Unless you are an advanced trader, unless you've had the proper training, day trading is a casino. See what happens. You go in, you spend money that you may or may not come back with, and you come out. So think about the long term. You want to think about, where am I going with this? What is something that seems like it's going to make sense over time? So with coin, what we understand, and this is the piece I really think is going to bring some value to you, for some of you who are on the edge of like, do I go with coin or something else? So if you're thinking about coin, you want to think about coin from a place of, what do I expect long term? And then you want to think about your investment as a long-term investment. You do not want that cash back anytime soon. You're putting it in to see what happens over time. So think long term. And so when you buy your coin, you're going to choose something that, number one, feels safe. And so do your research and find out what is safe to you. Bitcoin is a popular one because it has the most stability, right? It's the biggest. So it has, but it's not really where your big returns are going to be made at this point. You can still make a lot. On Bitcoin, there's still much growth to happen. And I'm going to explain why I believe so. And so when you go and you choose your coin, you can choose based on many things. The basic understanding of that is you could choose based on what they call a stable coin, which is connected to the US dollar and uses supply and demand and works to keep the stability of the coin. I don't know details about this. I'm giving you the basics of this. I am not a coin expert. I want you to understand that. This is from an investment mindset perspective that I want to talk to you. And also, coin has done me well in the last year. So then you want to think about, okay, so what is the long term? What is that? And you might think, well, I don't know about the US dollar. One of the reasons I started looking at coin is, for me, the US dollar or the US economy is sort of suspect right now. There's a lot happening and we're overspending, and I know this pattern, and I've witnessed and been part of this pattern in my own life, and I can see what's coming, and I just feel like long term the US dollar is going to have some problems. And so a stable coin, and I began to understand this only recently, your stable coin is connected to the US dollar. That's kind of changing the thinking about when I buy more coin going forward, where I want to put it. The other option that I have learned is called an algo coin, and it's an algorithmic base. So at the end of the day, it comes down to this. If you want to research, like, well, what kind of coin do I choose? I don't know the answer to that, but I will tell you how you can look up a couple of things and see what works for you. If you're thinking, so research what is the stable coin versus the algorithmic coin. And at the end of the day, for me, do I trust the US government or math more? And an algorithm is math, and math is the universal language that in theory we can even communicate with other species through math. I don't know how that works, only that it exists. And so I trust the math. And the reason I got into coin a year and a half ago was because I was working next to a math professor in the evenings, and we started having coin conversation. And he showed me the math. It made sense. And his numbers have not done me wrong so far. And that was, I think, February of last year. So think about that in terms of what is it that you can create in your life and you're wanting to create so that you are setting your investments accordingly. So if you feel like the US dollar has stability, you want your money to be connected to the dollar, then go with stable coins. So think about long term. What are you looking for there and what do you expect? So my view of where the US economy is going is my personal view as an economist looking at data. And for me, it doesn't feel safe to only save in dollars. So I started diversifying it. And keep in mind that most of the coin I hold today came to me because I started noticing, I could not spend this money. And so instead of spending some of my disposable income that normally I would go out and spend, I started just buying coin. I felt the bliss and the joy of spending the money because I bought coin, but I still have it because it's mine and it only cost me the fee. So the next thing I want to think about with you is how do you get started and where do you go? So again, focus your research on what you're looking for and where you want to go. Those that I know of now, I'm on Coinbase with my work now, but switching over to Binance US, and that's for some reasons, for some other strategies. Now that I have some excess coin, I want to go play. Like, okay, what else can we create with this? And so I'm learning a strategy that's called staking coin. I don't know enough to share that yet, but it's a strategy that I'm now going to learn because I have some play money. I can go over and play with it and learn a new strategy. So understand that it's, again, what's the long-term goal of this? And my long-term goal was honestly to see where coin could take me. And so the next piece is, okay, let's try this other strategy. If someday I'm completely wealthy and it's mostly because of coin, that will be because I took a chance with money that I could afford to lose. And so I want you to understand this. I don't think it's going to be a loser. I really believe from an economic standpoint that we are shifting our entire economy from fiat currency. That's just the stuff like yen and dollars and euro and pounds, and switching from those currencies into a digital world. And if we're doing that, the structure or the fundamentals, the tools that help us get there are what are going to have value. If you look back to the days when we had a gold rush and everybody was going to mine gold. Some people struck gold, some people did not. Some spent their entire fortune and livelihood to try to find the gold and found nothing. Some people went out for a little day hike and found lots. So it was so, because we didn't know where the exact gold was, it was a guess. And that we don't know where the final play is going to happen in coin. So we are in a modern day gold rush, right? We're all searching. But who got rich for sure in the gold rush? The people selling the tools, those building railroads, those selling tools to the miners. What they had was consistency, and they could determine what was going to happen. So if your long-term goal is to take your money and see what you can do with it, maybe take a chance on yourself with some money that you can afford to watch go up and down, because it will, I promise you. And if you buy on the high and you get panicked and sell when it's dropping, you'll lose every time. So you have to put that money in and watch it and have fun watching it, because it trends like this so far. Way up, we might have some down, and then we're going up even higher, and then down, and then up even higher and down. And except for an exceptional situation with the outbreak of COVID, it really hasn't taken massive dips. So think about that in terms of when you're thinking long-term, what do I need from this? And if you're getting in coin, it means it needs to be that you really don't need something from it. You are seeing what could happen. This is a game. This is some fun, some extra money that you didn't need anyway. You're setting it aside just to see what happens. So I really want to emphasize that over and over. So then how do you do a little research about, look at things like who has contracts coming up and who's connecting. Are there people building networks that are taking shape? I can't give you advice about which coin to pick, because I just pick them on intuition and conversations with people who are knowledgeable. My son knows a lot. So most of the time, my choice is in coin. Now, the reason I can be so relaxed about it is, again, it's a Wild West, nobody really knows. But my son does understand some fundamentals. So I will ask him and he'll tell me what's going on in those fundamentals. And occasionally I'll say, okay, and I'll watch the price. And when the price dips, I say, good time to buy. And whatever money I've been holding, I just go ahead and buy it at that point. And that has served me well. So find your source, your system. And so there's our third rule of investing in coin. Find a system, a process, like make a set of rules. I'm not a big rule person, but say a set of principles. Create a set of principles for yourself. Okay, these are the conditions when I'll buy. These are conditions when I'll sell. Like, for example, you don't really want to sell something unless you think it's no longer a good investment. Don't sell it on the up and the down. If you're trying to catch a low and a high in the coin market, you're likely to lose overall. And there are a lot of fees for buying and selling. I hear they're lower on Binance US. I'm still working to get transition there. You guys remember, quick note, it does take some time. So if you want to get started in the market, you don't get to buy just jump in on the day that it's down. You've got to think ahead, because you've got to get approved on an exchange, a place to buy. So it takes a few days to a few weeks. So if you're interested in that, do your research and pick your platform and start now. And so again, this is your beginner intro. Those of you who are like, I want to get in coin, and where do I start? And so the next piece is find your system. And here's why. Those of you who are going to start with this coin, there comes the point when you're like, okay, when do I take my profits? And we really don't know this with coin. Like, even the experts have no concept of where it will stop. And that's because it's new ground. It's a frontier, right? We're searching for gold and we don't know where it's going to strike. And so because of that, choose a set of principles for you. And this is the best way that I will tell you if you're going to begin investing. Okay, so I'm going to buy under these conditions. The money I'm going to use is going to come from these sources. I'm going to do it for X amount of time, or I'm going to do it indefinitely, but with the intention that, especially your selling principles, under what conditions would you sell? Okay, I'm ready to take profit and be out of the game. Okay, fine. That's a good time to sell. I believe that the value has been mostly extracted from this coin. That's a good time to sell. I'm getting too anxious and I'm watching this every single day and it's consuming my life. Sell. Just sell it out and let it go. And so when you're buying, wait for those days. Don't get anxious and buy. there are always going to be this in the market. Now, if you're thinking today, maybe it's a good time to do that. So look where the markets are. And if they've been higher, it's probably a good time to buy. So look for that kind of low, try to buy there, and then just hold. It might drop after you buy it. That's okay. Don't get panicked about what that number is today. Be excited to watch it grow, because every time there's a dip so far in coin, we're getting massive growth. In some seasons, sometimes it's a week or two, and sometimes it's months, but we're seeing that massive growth take off again later so far. So just get in and hold, but wait for that dip. And if you do decide you're out, finished, want to let go, because an exit strategy is one of the first things you want to think about with investment. When do I get out and how? And so have your principles, aka rules, about when you'll sell. And another one, like I said, might be that it's just causing you anxiety. And if it is, it's not worth it. Because remember, the best way to attract money into your life is to keep your money story clean. What does it take to feel clean, to feel empowered, to feel good in the energy that you're creating in your life and the ways that you have your money? And if it's fun for you to watch your coin, awesome, then keep staying. If not, wait for one more spike if you want to, and sell then, or just go ahead and buy your piece today. Because at the end of the day, inner peace, feeling connected, knowing that you're okay no matter what happens, that's what's important. So jump into coin only when it's fun, only when it's play for you, and you have nothing to lose or gain from this. You're going to your self principles and stick to those, right? As important as anything else, tune in, go centered, find yourself in that centered space where you can allow that money to flow and invest when you're feeling in that high vibration, that love, that connection, that sense of flow. That's a great time to buy and to make any decisions on coin or any investment choices. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope this is helpful for you for how to know what's going on in the world of coin and how to know if it's good for you to get started. And if you are getting started, let me know. I'm actually going to keep this video public because I think it's timely right now. So if you're doing the challenge, you'll notice that this one is available on my YouTube channel as well as in the private links for the class. If you see this video and you have not subscribed, I do have a 30-day money challenge that you can subscribe. It's totally free. And you just go to crystalgifford.com and it's right at the top. You're going to click that button that says Money Challenge. That's a free 30-day money challenge. I offered it in 30 days. We're on day 7, almost wrapping this one up. And but you can absorb it as slowly or as quickly as you like. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm here for you. If you have questions about anything that you've learned from me, please reach out and let us know. That's why I do this, because why not be informed and be in choice about what's going on in your own life? Until next time, guys, I love you. I see you. I am. Have an awesome